Hello and welcome. It's day 5 out of 7 in our abs and booty challenge, and today is abs. It's going to be total core. Once again, we got obliques, we got lower, upper abs. We've got it all today. So the format is going to be 15 reps of each exercise, and you want to think about really engaging your core just like in the last ab video. You don't want to be doming. If you're seeing a doming shape, try and focus on your breathing more, take breaks, and doing it correctly with correct form is going to be much more effective than just repping it out. So that's what we've got for you today. And then at the end, the Christ-like attribute is compassion. So it's going to be a great one. Thanks so much for being here. I hope you enjoy it. Great job, you guys. You did it. Like attribute that we're going to look at is the compassion of Jesus Christ, how he is the compassionate one. And the context that we're going to look at is Luke chapter 7 with the widow of Nain. So Jesus and his disciples were traveling, and they came very particularly at this very moment as a widow's son was being taken out of the city. He had just died. It was the only son of this widow, the only means of help that she had. The very last person in her life, it seems like, at least of her family. Her husband had died, and now her only son had died too, leaving her in a circumstance where she would have had no support, no one to be with her, no one to love in her family, honestly. And so Jesus comes right as they are taking him out of the city. And it says much people of the city were with her. So it seems like this was a faithful woman, a good woman who tried her best despite difficult circumstances in her life. And then in verse 13 it says, when the Lord saw her, he had compassion on her and said unto her, weep not. And he came and touched the bier, and they that bare him stood still. And he said, young man, I say unto thee, arise. And he that was dead sat up and began to speak, and he delivered him to his mother. I just think that's absolutely beautiful. Jesus Christ had so many things he could have been doing that day. He had so many people to minister to in his lifetime, and he came to this one widow at this very specific time in her mourning to dry her tears and to raise her son from the dead. Just incredible compassion. No one has had greater compassion than Jesus Christ. So this is the attribute we're going to think about today. All day think about how can you show compassion in the different circumstances of your life? How can you be just a little bit more patient in traffic or with a spouse or with a child? Or how can you show compassion to those who are hurting and needing your support and Jesus Christ's love through you? So that's the one for today, compassion. Think about it and let me know your thoughts. Thanks so much for being here.